Sorry about that. Last minute question wording change in a survey. I gotta move this. There we go. Let's cook. I gotta move this chair. Motion creates emotion, guys. Remember, motion creates emotion. All right. Let's go. Everybody's got deadlines for surveys. It's Friday. Hey, thanks, Andrew. All right, folks, welcome inside the numbers with the People's Pundit. I'm your host, Rich Barris, the People's Pundit. Don't forget to like the videos if you like them and share them far and wide. All right, it is time for a bit of a reality check, a little bit of a real talk time. All right. Yeah, sorry about the 5-minute late window. This happens. It's a Friday. This happens a lot to me. It just happened at a really bad time today where it was like last minute change to a question before a survey was fielded. So understand this too. Just because we're not running the public polling project does not mean that I am not doing other projects, okay? And that we are not seeing whatever is happening out there right now. This jobs report today is not good at all. You're looking at the largest decline in the domestic-born workforce, something that Trump has been able to champion and use in his messaging. The biggest decline since Joe Biden was president last summer. It's basically took all the wind out of his sails. Yeah, you could point to wage gains, whatever. I mean, if you want. But the fact of the matter is we can see that soon wages will fall if this keeps up, because we know that there are too many workers looking for too few jobs. All right. So it's simple supply and demand. When you have too many workers out there competing for a job, the employer has the leverage and the employer sets the wage right? And then the opposite is true, which was what was marked by Trump's first presidency, which was that finding qualified work was the hard part, because Democrats sent everybody to liberal arts colleges for 15 years. And instead, the worker was the one with the power. And so wages rose. That and the corporate restructuring of the corporate tax rate is like economics 101 for all these dumb Keynesian economists who don't know what they're talking about. There is a Goldilocks zone. Trump put the corporate tax rate in the Goldilocks zone for the United States, and 50 years worth of data from developed countries. And I'm talking about data from like the OECD, for crying out loud, and elsewhere. Other very left-wing bureaucracies, not right-wing think tanks, very clearly show that Goldilocks zone is very influential. Not even influential, it directs wage growth. So if you can get it in the Goldilocks zone, corporate tax rates go in a certain Goldilocks zone, wages rise. Everyone knows it. Workers, wages rise, not supervisory or management. The other thing I want to point out real quick, and we will get to the rest of the jobs report, is the idea of these paid posts from people on Twitter. It's a major problem. But I will say this, the reason the jobs report is a problem is because Trump's ace in the hole has always been the economy, not even immigration. And if he doesn't even have that, he will deflate with political capital. Now, back to this, which ties into the paid post thing. I've always thought that, and I think we're always we're all focused on India today, but Israel is one of the biggest offenders of paid influencer posts, and everybody knows it. So I don't know why we just pretend like it's just one or the other, or that half of these people have honest interpretations or analysis. It's BS. They're paid for, and they post the stuff that they're paid to post. Frank Luntz, all of these guys, that's a paid fake pollster for Pfizer and Nike and other, corporations like that. And they're paid to put out garbage like he did during the COVID era, like he did during the COVID lockdown. I mean, that is just true. All right. But there's another part of this. Pfizer is huge, and there are a whole lot of fake right-wing influencers who can't get a job during the Trump era as a political consultant like they used to. So they run around posting stuff where I'm on the line of whether or not I want to bring one person up by name, or maybe I'll just allude to who they are, and then everyone else can kind of try to figure out for themselves. But this guy is somebody I cannot stand, so I don't know if it's best to come from me. I have on many occasions criticized this person. But to do what he did in this campaign to take down Robert Kennedy is huge. Where am I going? We have to tie this all together. This is what a lot of these, and I think many of them are paid, but others are just amateurs and don't know what they're talking about. And they sit around on X all day, providing their hot takes, pretending like they're predicting things like they're me or something. They're like wannabe me's. That's the truth. Let's just call it what it is. And I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to give them any more, what's the word, Laura? I don't want to give them any more notoriety or credit. That's punching down. Okay? They're all trying to deride me to get more followers on X. And there are a few in particular who are obsessed with me and tweet me all day long. These are just amateurs, I think, who don't really understand how this game works. When you sit around and clap like a seal all day while your guy is going down, you expend his political capital. Every leader has a finite amount of political capital, and they've been clapping his way into oblivion. And now they don't even have the economy to provide them more political capital. So great job. And you spent it on Israel. You spent it on BS. Now a bunch of it is getting spent on Pfizer, and they don't even really know it. A certain someone in the White House's best friend. Donald Trump nominated and got appointed by the Senate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This guy he is one of the members of Trump's cabinet that has done more for MAGA than anybody else. So-called members of MAGA, or like, whatever you want to call it, associated with the MAGA movement for years before Robert Kennedy became associated with MAGA or MAHA or anything. MAHA was even a thing. Have been utter disappointments, while former Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy are the only reasons why some part of this coalition is even loosely still connected. And the pressure campaign to get rid of the both of them, campaigns plural, is very, very real. Last week, and he will not last if this keeps up. I'm just going to tell you right now, he will not survive if this keeps up. And instead, you'll get a typical loser Republican who's been on the take his or her entire career, and they will turn Trump 2.0 into Trump 1.0, which is already happening, even with these people, which is why they need them gone. It's like people like Robert F. Kennedy and people like Tulsi Gabbard and my buddy Pete over there with Sean. They are the last of them. Like, they are the front line and viewed widely as the problem. And if they can get rid of these people, or at least one or two, little by little, they'll just keep chipping away and they'll come back. Then that's it. And then this presidency is officially over. This is the real talk that we have to have today. Last week, we had Paul Dans on to discuss his run against Lindsey Graham for the U.S. Senate in South Carolina. This is what voters, especially Trump's voters, whether you consider yourself MAGA or not, or you just like Trump or whatever, this is what you need to understand. Donald Trump is supporting a bunch of people who are going to ruin his legacy. Donald Trump is supporting a bunch of people who are going to destroy his presidency. It's just real. We explained last week that Big Pharma, the blob, all of these deep state swamp entities have huge influence through the U.S., and that includes Republican senators. Almost zero of them are MAGA. Almost zero. The vast majority of them are 100% corrupt. Pfizer, during the COVID era, hired the biggest lobbying army that K Street has ever seen. Ever. Think about that. We have lobbyists out there for Russia's interests. We have lobbyists out there, lots of them, for China's interests. Actually, China makes the Russian lobby look like nothing, puny. And yet, this one company hired the biggest lobby the town has ever seen. You think they didn't get something for all of that money? They got the Republican leadership. That's what they got. They got Democratic senators who are just, the Democratic Party is now the party of corporate America. That is true. It's in the financials, and it is now in their voting coalitions. Ironically, one of the biggest areas of Big Pharma residential congregations, let's call it, is Bucks County, Pennsylvania, specifically Buckingham Township, Merck, all of them. And yet Donald Trump won it. Won it. While other Republicans, by the way, like Dave McCormick, did not. And yet, and what does that tell you? And yet Republicans are going down this route. Why? I mean, they're stupid, but are they so stupid that you can't read basic math? You can't do basic math? This guy, and I mean, this is what the president is like, honestly, he is not without blame here. This guy in the state, 2 states, over Mid-Atlantic, Great Lakes, not Mid-Atlantic. Pennsylvania's Mid-Atlantic, although it is considered part of the Rust Belt. This guy has taken so much money from the blob, it's disgusting. And yet Donald Trump outperformed him in Oakland County. Blob Central, a hub of supposedly blob-friendly educated voters. And yet Republicans are doing this. Why? Folks, it's called money. They're bought and paid for. And Donald Trump is one man. He's one man, and he's an imperfect man. And as president, it's kind of the role of president. You have to take the advice. You have to rely on people around you. And you start to get this false sense of obedience and loyalty from them in the White House. You're insulated, you're isolated, and you think like these people really have your back, and they don't. But it's part of the role as president. It's not his, I don't say it's not his fault. I don't want to alleviate him of responsibility, but it's hard. And then there is his tendency, very like Mrs. Nixon little boy kind of tendency, to want to be liked by certain people, certain kinds of people. Understand this, Mr. President. You betrayed the ruling class for the unwashed masses. They will never again accept you, and they will never again like you. You're never getting a Nobel Peace Prize because they hate you over there. Do you understand? This is never going to happen. So your legacy is either going to be that, or it's going to be that you delivered for the people who came through and delivered for you when you needed them. Simple. Now, he's got RFK's back for the moment, but let's roll a couple of clips and let's see why it is that RFK is really Pfizer public enemy number one.
5% of Americans who believe that they know somebody who was killed by a COVID vaccine. Killed? 25% of Americans, 52% of Americans believe that the vaccines are causing injuries, including death.
Now, of course, you guys know that he is citing our study. That is our poll. That is the Four Freedoms poll. That is what he is showing to Bill Maher. And by the way, there is absolutely zero chance that the CDC, the FDA, and all of them, because they conduct surveys too. There is absolutely zero chance that they did not find the same results when they did their own damn studies. We all have the same or roughly the same results. Those of us who had the balls to poll these things, which was just a handful, but you know damn well they're doing it, folks. You know they are. They're just not showing you.
52%. Oh, if you look at the clinical trial studies, the actual studies that were done, that were released of the Pfizer vaccine, Moderna has not released it. If you look at the Pfizer vaccine, there were 22,000 people in the placebo group, 22,000 people who got the actual vaccine. And the people who got the vaccine had a 23% higher death rate from all causes at the end of that study.
But that could not be the disease itself?
No, well,
because we know that
if it is, then the vaccine doesn't work, does it?
That's it. That's it. If it is, then the vaccine doesn't work, does it? Listen, I have personally read emails, from people directly related to the email chain. And if we had a Congress that did their job, you'd all read them too. Couple of things immediately scream out in the emails that I read. One is Pfizer knew full well that there is a chasing element to the COVID vaccine. In other words, by the time they develop the vaccine for Alpha, even if it's effective, almost certainly Alpha is gone, and now we will have another strain. They were very well aware that Dr. Malone was right, actually, and that we would be chasing like a flu almost and guessing what the next strain would be. And that because when you enter, I'm not a scientist, but when you enter these things into the population, it alters the virus, it becomes something else. And then we got what? We got all sorts of different strains, guys. By the time Alpha was out, that Delta. They knew that. That's number one. One thing that immediately jumped out of those email threads. Number two is that they hate Donald Trump, especially the head of communications at Pfizer. She hated him with a passion and couldn't stand that he'd repeatedly go to the microphone and say during the 2020 campaign that we will have a vaccine by Christmas. Something they publicly, and with Fauci's help, publicly refuted, which they knew was true. They did not want him to use them as a political weapon, not weapon, but they didn't want Pfizer to be the source of any political advantage for Donald Trump. That is how they explained it. Because they hated him and didn't support him. And they and others like Dr. Fauci, their buddy, went out there and directly contradicted what Donald Trump was saying, even though they knew that it was true. We'll have a vaccine by the new year, I think it was. When, by the way, their own damn targets in the email said we could probably have it as early as October. And Donald Trump wanted it because he wanted to be able to tell the American people that we were going to return to normal. With a vaccine on the horizon or approved for emergency use, things could go back to normal. And oh, by the way, maybe we didn't need to exploit our entire election system because the pandemic's not really an issue anymore, is it? But they didn't. They fought him on it. And we all know how that turned out, obviously. All right. Here's another clip of Fauci. Holy crap. I'm so sorry, Secretary Kennedy. I did not mean to malign you like that. Here is another clip before we get into two clips from two senators that I really, really want you to see. Because I want you to understand, Republicans out there just love to blame Democrats for everything. There are midterms coming up. If MAGA wants the MAGA agenda to succeed, they have to get it in their heads right effing now that those people that they call their friends and allies are dirty as shit. And they have to go. And if there's a viable alternative, they have to be replaced with them. Because if they're not, you're never going to advance anything. And we simply cannot have a majority of the country continuously get shit on, and then the vehicle of supposed change, the election, the electoral process, not ever result in any real change. And then the grievance stays the same forever. That's not sustainable. That ends up in a very dark place. Especially not when you have Democrats already talking about how the next time they're in power, they're going to get rid of your ability to gather information they may feel is not approved enough for you to consume in order for you to make political decisions. Well, that sounds like what they did during the height of censorship. We're back to this now. And we do have to tackle this idea of paid posts from the right, too. There's huge right, so-called right-wing influencers who are paid to dump bullshit, too. All right, here we go.
The last one of these was in 2020 or 2019 October. And it was hosted by Bill Gates, by Fauci, and by April Hayes. And interestingly, by George Gale, who is the head of the Chinese CDC in New York City. And any of you, I'm sure a lot of you have gone and looked at this on YouTube. It's called Event 201. And the fourth simulation that day, the last one, is all about how you use the pandemic as a pretense for clamping down, for abridgments of freedom of speech, and particularly, how do you stop people from talking about a lab leak as the source of these viruses? So this in October 2019, none of us at that time ever heard of COVID. We now know that COVID was almost certainly circulating by mid-September. On September 12th, the Chinese government kicked down the door of the Wuhan lab, brought in General Wei, which is the bioweapons expert from the People's Army, to run the lab and remove all the gain of function studies from their public facing websites. And all
My fault. So you can't see why this guy is a major problem for these people? Now, with that in mind, what the is this? What is this? There is under no circumstance, I don't care what you try to say he's doing. I don't give two flippin' shits. Bill Gates should not be at the White House. Donald Trump is basically sitting here yesterday with every single enemy of himself, the American public, everyone. Bill Gates should be investigated right now. So when we tell you that the Epstein stuff may not seem like a big deal to the average Trump, or the not average, the core, not core. The clapping seal Trump supporter. And we tell you it's a proxy issue for holding the rich and powerful, the ruling class who have committed heinous crimes against the American people, holding them accountable. You better listen, because the next step is this. How do you think this looks? How do the optics of this picture how does that work with Trump's voting coalition, the people who voted for Donald Trump? This is remarkable. If you can't see that there's somebody out of touch at the White House, I really don't know what to tell you. If you can't see why there are some people who are going to be paranoid, with PTSD, considering how things went the first administration and how things are going now. I mean, they're under attack. The good people who are holding this thing together, they're the glue that are still holding this thing together, even though it's fracturing off like crazy. If you don't think the optics of this are horrible, and that they'll look at that and they'll say, so next is what? Abandoning RFK? Like, if you don't see that, and I don't know, maybe you really just can't be helped. I just don't know. because this is what you're up against. Here, let's go with the Democrat first. Here's a clip of RFK appearing before what social media and normal people were calling the board of directors at Pfizer. That's what they're calling a supposed oversight committee in the United States Senate, which is totally accurate, of course, because this is the problem with Big Pharma, with big everything. When it comes to the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House, it's the same thing with the blob and the deep state. These people are supposed to be overseers. They're supposed to be protecting you from them. And instead, they do the bidding of those that they are supposed to be watching over, checking.
Promised that you would not take away vaccines anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacy.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I know I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying?
Did you hold up a big sign that said you're bought and paid for by Big Pharma?
You said that because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Yes.
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy.
Yes, because that's what her benefactors pay her to do. She's not elected to represent the people of Massachusetts. She's elected to represent K Street and whoever gives her money. That is the game. Here we have an article from MSN. Warren's claim to be clean of big pharma money falls apart as it's revealed they gave her millions. So he's low on his estimate. And by the way, when he did this to Bernie Sanders, the same fake fact checkers came running to his aid too. Oh, Bernie didn't do that. That's not true. We went directly to the FEC records and showed you online that he, over the years, has taken millions. Bernie stopped being a man of the people, if he ever was one, the day he bent over for Hillary Clinton and her strap-on. From that point on, his entire 2020 campaign was filled with Big Pharma and everyone else he claimed his entire career to oppose. That's why his entire coalition flipped. And he no longer had any rural working class votes. They were all Trump voters. That's how he gave Hillary Clinton a run for her money, that coalition. By the time 2020 rolled around, he completely changed his tune. From wanting to work on Donald Trump with trade agreements, he always, for years, said reduced American wages. For years, he was rated A from the NRA. Now he's a gun grabber. For years, he said illegal immigration hurts workers' wages. Now all of a sudden, the guy is working for freaking left-wing attorneys who make money off of defending these people and their lobby. And voters weren't stupid. They knew it. And they were Trump voters. They became Trump voters. And his entire coalition was an urban, white, liberal, rich, progressive coalition of people like this who only lie about being Native American or caring about, anyone of color. After her fiery confrontation with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. during his confirmation hearing to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Massachusetts Democratic Senator Warren has been the subject of much criticism. She threw a tantrum during the hearing. Anyway, as it turns out, why is Warren so worried about what happens to Big Pharma? They pay her a lot of money. I mean, come on, guys. This is why Robert Kennedy is the target of this campaign. Because stuff like that sticks to this very day. But here's a Republican and one, I'm tempted to tell you, has ties to a so-called conservative influencer on social media who just did the dirtiest thing over the last 2 weeks since the publishing of the New York Times article about Robert Kennedy's changes, which CVS and Walgreens now are not giving the COVID vaccine without a prescription. Folks, that's all it is. They need a prescription. That's it. So this person, who is buddies with this senator I'm about to play, pulled the most despicable. And I'm telling you, this is what I'm talking about. It's right on X. I would love, you know what? If we had real congressmen and women, I would love for them to check this person's bank account. Because since he's not being hired by many serious candidates anymore to be told how to win elections, how is he making a living? Huge piles of medical bills. How are they getting paid?
That the COVID vaccine killed more people than COVID.
Wait,
That was a statement.
I did not say that.
Okay, then let me ask, because you also were
Senator, I just want to make clear, I did not say that.
We'll check the record. That's a question of fact. You also said that you were also, as lead attorney for the Children's Health Defense, you engaged in multiple lawsuits attempting to restrict access to the COVID vaccine. Again, it surprises me that you think so highly of Operation Warp Speed when, as an attorney, you attempted to restrict access. Now, let me ask.
I'm happy to explain why.
I had 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. It also surprises me because you've canceled, or HHS did, but apparently under your direction, $500 million in contracts using the mRNA vaccine platform that was critical to Operation Warp Speed. Again, an accomplishment that I think President Trump should get a Nobel Prize for. You canceled $500 million in contracts. Now, I grew up in a middle-class family, so $500 million seems, just to cancel, it seems like an incredible waste of money. But it also seems like a commentary upon what the president was attempting, what the president did in Operation Warp Speed, which is to create a platform by which to create vaccines. So this just seems inconsistent that you would agree with me the president deserves a tremendous amount of credit for this.
Is this a question?
Right,
Senator
like what do you get,
Cassidy,
like,
or is
right.
this a speech that you don't want me to
No, I'm
answer?
asking a
'Cause I
question.
want to answer that question.
Please, please.
If it's a question.
But be tight, please. You got
First of all,
But be tight. So let me throw all these things, allegations. You said this, you're crazy, you did that, and then, oh, but you can't answer it. You can't answer for yourself. You can't respond because I'm short on time. This isn't even a serious Congress anymore. This is what they all do. It's this hit and run format where they just throw all this shit out. They're not even serious people anymore. This is why this country is going to shit. They're not serious people. They're all a bunch of scumbags, corrupt crooks looking for the biggest bag of cash. They don't deal with any of the country's problems. They don't deal with any serious discussion or dialogue. They just do this hit and run bullshit. And one day to another, we're sitting there racking up billions. The foreign policy is a total disaster. Other foreign nations have more power over our pharmaceutical companies than we do. This is insane. This cannot continue. You cannot keep re-electing these people at 90+% re-election rates anymore. They can't fix our problems. They have to be completely purged in a way that we haven't seen ever. Like, that is what this country needs. There's no other way around it. The 16th and the 17th Amendment log rolling deal have made political careerism a thing. There's only one way. Term limits aren't going to work. That shit is not going to work. The state legislators no longer have the power to revoke this piece of shit seat. So we're stuck with him until you get rid of him, Louisiana. Lindsey Graham is never going to stop killing people by the millions until you get rid of him, South Carolina. And on and on and on and on. At least Joni Ernst realizes she's got no prayer in hell, so she stepped down. She doesn't want people rifling through her financials, and she doesn't want to have to defend her record. But they're going to, because they have done such a good job co-opting MAGA this time. They're going to just throw up some new piece of shit who's trustworthy, because that's the word in DC. Trustworthiness. Only it doesn't mean what it means to you and I outside the Beltway. Trustworthiness means they can count on you. You get your thing, I get my thing. You know what I mean? This can't continue. This isn't going to work. I don't care who the hell you elect president. Jesus Christ would get impeached in this country. Right? Am I wrong? Jesus Christ couldn't get his cabinet through without having to sell his soul to get the committee votes. This is not going to work. And by the way, how many of them barely got through? Pete Hegseth, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, the skin of their teeth. And eventually Bill Cassidy will relent. He will relent. But now he's one of the biggest backroom supporters of the campaign to oust Robert F. Kennedy. I wonder why. Pharma executives shower Bill Cassidy with campaign cash. Folks, the title of the episode says it all. The swamp is winning here. They're winning because Trump is in part letting them win at this point. That's just true. People are getting tired. We talk to them every day. Many of our own listeners would rather us move on to a different formatted show that discuss, at least from time to time, cultural things and real life things, which I'm not ready to explain what we're going to do with that yet. But we did hear you loud and clear, and we are going to figure out how we can do something that doesn't neglect what I feel deeply is my responsibility at this point, but also give you something new and fresh and give you a break from the madness. But this is how America's feeling right now. I was just on a totally unrelated conference call. I was on it during the 10 o'clock hour. The jobs report came out. And that was the conversation sideline. Great, this is what we voted for. Man, I hate both these parties. That's how a normie feels right now. Because Republicans are giving them zero reason to believe that they are ever on their side. And Bill Cassidy's a perfect example. Look at this guy. These are the people in white lab coats who basically pumped an entire generation filled with poison so they could get cruises. You know, I got this new pill. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's not as addicting. It's called OxyContin. Want some? It's the same thing. Purdue looks like a Boy Scout compared to this fucking company. Nobody should have this much power or own this many legislators. This is crazy. Republicans, I wonder why you're losing all these specials and all of these people won't come out to vote for you. You want to sit there and sit on Fox News all day and glow over declining Democratic voter registration numbers and approval ratings. Well, you're getting your ass kicked by them. So what does that say? This is your last chance. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of similarities in history. We're talking about this on Labor Day, man. It's not going the same way. I tell you right now. It is not going the same way. Grover was successful. And they still managed to kick his ass out, along with his bourbon Democrats. And in the end, they got what they wanted. New control over the U.S. economy, which, by the way, runs through the U.S. Senate. Regulatory power, the power to give some companies competitive advantages over others. That's the currency. Actually, the currency is seniority. That's the product. The House has the power to tax, the power of the purse. When was the last time they exercised it? A bunch of bums. All of them. When was the last time they tugged the strings on that purse? A freaking joke. In part, fear of the media. In large part, fear of empty pockets. Here is the latest stunt from Senator Bill Cassidy, and then I will tell you which thread. Actually, hold on. Wait, I am going to do it. Yep, I am. Okay. This is disgusting because, like, this really takes a lot to, okay, how do I put it? To use your personal tragedy for your own, to advance misinformation that benefits yourself, I guess, or benefits somebody. Perhaps you are helping, right? Working for, whatever, is just disgusting in such a way like this. All right. Here's an image. Just a quick cell phone capture. Oh, let me make sure there's nobody's thing on here. Yeah, there's not, right? I got to make sure I don't see anybody's name or anything. Okay, yeah. This is a cell phone capture from an article from The Hill. Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Help Committee Chairman Bill Cassidy, Republican from Louisiana, who attended the hearing, said Kennedy's policy changes have made it tougher for people to get vaccines. He read aloud a social media post by conservative commentator Eric Erickson, who said that his wife, who was diagnosed with cancer, couldn't get a vaccine at CVS. Quote, I would say, effectively, we're denying people vaccines, Cassidy bluntly told Kennedy. What are they talking about? Okay. Maybe some of you follow me so much on social media, you already know where I'm going here. But for those who do not, bear with me. I'm actually going to show my reply to this because I did reply to this because I thought this was either a misunderstanding or one of the most disgusting things I have seen in politics to date. And that's saying something. I've been around a long time. I also just celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary with Laura. And my heart goes out to anybody who would be dealing with something like this, especially so young. But at the same time, it made me nauseous because I already knew what it was. It wasn't earnest. This was not an honest, you know what, I want to tell you guys about something. This is how this policy is affecting us. No, it's not. Hang on. It's funny that Bill Cassidy read that post aloud in his meeting with Kennedy. Here's my reply on social media to it. Well, let's back up. What am I replying to? Okay, whoops. Right? If you go up, this is what I'm replying to. My wife has stage 4 lung cancer. She is one of the people the COVID vaccine actually helps. Thanks to the current mess at HHS, CVS is unable to get her a vaccine. Okay, let me put this up so you guys, let me put this up bigger so you guys can read this. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I'm seeing all of these posts, by the way, that I am not following. As you can see, I do not follow Eric Erickson. I don't follow the Krasensteins. I don't follow a bunch of other Trump haters that are just constantly pumping out crap on X. And oh, by the way, they're getting paid to do it. They're not doing this because this is their honest opinion. They're making money off of this. Just so, full disclosure, the only thing I have ever made money off of on X is the amount of posts that people look at. Like what is it called? I don't even know, honey. It's like, and I'm talking, it's nothing. It's like $100 a month or something. We are not talking about money. I have no direct relationship with X, Elon Musk, or any company that advertises on it. We don't advertise on it ourselves. We don't boost our posts, nothing. But I can tell when others are because I know the programs. And this has got to stop because honestly, things are coming across almost as like human interest stories and like personal takes to get you, to influence you, and to get you to think about an issue in a certain way, when in fact they should be regulated by the FEC, by FARA in many cases. But even domestically, there is no campaign finance control over what is going on X. And honestly, I'm not sure that there should be, outside of just simply disclosing that you're not really sharing your own personal human interest story. You work for a company and you are putting out stuff that's beneficial to them. Frank Luntz is another major perpetrator of this. Pfizer during COVID, even recently. Nike, he's put out other things about. He'll share a story out of the blue where you think it's just like some story, then he's sharing, and it's like, oh, I saw this article, when in fact he was absolutely paid to do that and influence public opinion. Or he's like supposedly conducting a focus group on something, and it's not. It's bullshit. Pfizer paid him to conduct that focus group and make you think that people were totally okay with never-ending lockdowns and changing election laws. Like, that's bullshit. That is a product that's being sold to you, and you don't even know you're being sold. This struck me as sad, but it also was incorrect. And you will notice that he's actually sharing an article from the New York Times. Ladies and gentlemen, what so-called conservative commentator, influencer, whatever you want to call him, because he's not a political consultant really anymore. Actually, he is, to the extent that when he loses or his candidates don't make it or the people that he works with don't make it, they do things like leak damaging information to the Republican candidate for governor's political opponents, even the media. So that information was given to the media, which Josh Stein then locked on. But it was sourced through his truly and his buddies. And they destroyed obviously his campaign. A black Republican candidate who was MAGA. Flawed. Deeply flawed, but MAGA. Now, I'm not saying what he did was right. What I'm saying is you would have never have heard about it if it was their candidate. Two wrongs don't make a right, but I'm saying they're all pieces of shit, folks. You only hear about the shitty stuff for the people who aren't in the club. Here's the whole post, and then we'll go back. My wife has stage 4 lung cancer. She is one of the people the COVID vaccine actually helps. Thanks to the current mess at HHS, CVS is unable to get her the vaccine. How many of them do you know, like I said, linked to New York Times articles and pretend that they are actually credible? This article itself was a source of controversy. There is a lot of stuff in it. They pulled like the similar tactic they pulled on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It is filled with incorrect or misleading information about the availability of COVID vaccines at CVS's and Walgreens, by the way, depending on the state. So This guy says, geez, so sorry, Eric. And I mean, this is any normal human being's reaction. That's dreadful and so entirely unnecessary. Strength to you both. And I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't look at this guy. He probably is a liberal. There he is, former CBS News host and journalist. Of course it is. You guys seeing the big picture here? And he says, thanks, so frustrating. And one of the reasons I was so vocally opposed to Kennedy and frustrated that who? Senator Bill Cassidy, who knew better, let Kennedy through. We are at the point I knew we'd get to. You think Senator Bill Cassidy read his thing aloud because he tagged him? You think this is a coincidence? You think Senator Cassidy's team looks at every single influencer who tags him on social media? Come on. Anyway, somebody had wrote, I thought she was in remission. Her last scans were clear. I pray that is still the case. I was under the, I don't know them. I don't know the Ericksons like personally. So, this is tragic, obviously, extremely tragic situation. But, I thought the same. It is not remission. Her cancer is incurable, he says. The medicine she is on keeps the tumors from growing, but they cannot get rid of the tumors. Sounds expensive, doesn't it? So I responded in good faith. And Doug Stafford, by the way, you're absolutely correct. You're in Georgia, are you not? Then you just need her doctor to write a prescription. And they will, of course, give it to her. This is gross. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice and delicate here. The rule is to stop the widespread administration of an ahistorically tested vaccine that we now know is hurting a lot of people. Obviously, it should be available for those with pre-existing injuries who also want to get it. It's America. I don't think you should take it. I don't think she should take it. If it was me, I wouldn't take it. If I was in her position, I would try alternative things to help my own immune system, even though I was sick. I would, folks, because from my own research, from a lot of time, it is very clear to me that you are at risk if you have certain problems. If you have nothing and you're if you're healthy, then you definitely should not take this vaccine. If you're older and you have problems and you want to take it, then that's your right. And that's I guess there's an argument to make. Your body isn't strong enough still to fight off the virus itself, so you can't develop a natural immunity to it. I get that. There's an argument for that. Here's the problem with me and why I would not take it even if I was in that situation. Because again, I know the nature of these vaccines because I read their fucking emails. They cannot guarantee you that anyway. So you're putting a foreign substance in your body on a hope and a prayer. Chances are that you're chasing the last strain. And it's not going to do shit for you anyway. That's the truth, Laura. That is and they know it. Again, if Bill Cassidy was an overseer and looked into some of Pfizer's terrible practices and lies recently in the last 4 years or so, he would have read those emails his damn self. But here's the truth of it anyway. The states where CVS is requiring a prescription are Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Utah, Virginia, and West Virginia, along with the District of Columbia. Based on the Times' attempts to book appointments, Walgreens appears to require prescriptions in Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Indiana, Louisiana, Missouri, Montana, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, South Carolina, Utah, Virginia, Washington State, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. In many other states, appointments are also unavailable, but it was not clear whether there was because of state laws or a lack of immediate vaccine supply. So what the fuck are you reporting on? Pardon my French. What the fuck are you even talking about then? What are you even talking? The last sentence negates the entire point of the article. You don't know. But all of that is completely irrelevant anyway. They're arguing that, well, it was hard to get an appointment, and that's why these vaccines are having, are in short supply. You could pick up the phone and call your oncologist. Obviously, he's going to write a prescription quickly and easily for you to get the COVID vaccine. This is a nothing burger. This is a pull on your heartstrings, use this horrible situation to try to get you to think something and mislead you. It's hard. This is gross. And then you're just lucky enough that the senator uses your post. Come on, guys. You're not this naive. You are not this naive. So don't talk to me about people who may or may not have posted negative things about Trump's tariffs towards India until you're ready to discuss this. Just gross. I'm looking at the time. I know that it's almost the end of school, and it's almost time for Laura to go do things and stuff like that. So I do want to sit and take some questions here. I did promise, Andrew, I got you, bro. I don't know what it was that you wanted to ask, but I'm getting to you. I will just say this, I'm going to go rattle off a bunch of stuff from locals, from the locals tip area. I do see, I don't know if the Charlie Kirk thing is a question first, but I'm coming, guys. We're getting there. I know, Life of Brian, I know, this is the insane part of, what the White House is doing and the Republican Party is doing. Can I put this up? This I can, since it's on low. Zero, USA. Trump refuses to fight the Senate or the courts for real MAGA priorities, but will fight them to hide the Epstein files. This is why, a bunch of people don't believe anymore. They just don't. And that, if you rewind this show 3 months before the election, and we were studying this block of voters, that was incredible to me, incredibly fascinating, because Democrats get these kinds of disconnected voters. That has always been an element of their coalition. Republicans would sit around every election cycle and hope and pray to God that they just didn't vote, right? And then this time, Trump had them. Not so much Republicans, and you should look at Mark Mitchell's post on X, by the way. In fact, I think I'll pull it up so you can see it. We went over this during the same time period. Here's Trump's numbers. Here's the number. Here's let's look at Trump's vote, and you'll see that Republicans are not getting these people, and that we would argue that you had to make them believe, they believed in Trump. They did not believe in Republicans. If Trump kept them believing, got the others to believe, he was going to win. He was going to win comfortably. That was the reality of the entire election cycle. And then afterwards, you have to keep these people, and you have to get them to believe in the Republican Party too. That is your sole job moving forward, or else, now that you are the low propensity coalition, you're going to lose a lot of elections to a smaller minority party. And they will, because they control the judiciary, because they control the culture, they will make huge advancements in that time, and there will not be enough time to correct it, and this country will collapse. It will. Send a story. I do believe that wholeheartedly. I do. You can't continue this mass mental illness, situation that we have going on in this country, along with our policy. I don't even want to call them policy challenges. We're headed towards a catastrophe. The debt is ridiculous. Our foreign policy is insane. This is not going to last. It's not. This is a dying superpower. Everybody knows it. Everyone knows it. Mearsheimer's just the one with the balls to speak up, but this is what a dying superpower looks like. It's what it acts like. So, Brian, what my point is that this is why nobody believes, and I hope you're there to turn off the alarm you just set off. Oh, those are my jams. This is why nobody, but I hope they fit, baby. Oh my God, please. I never get myself anything. Please let these shoes fit. I went everywhere looking for these shoes in my size to see if I knew what shoes to order directly from them. Please let them fit. I never get myself anything. It's just my luck. It's my luck. I go out to dinner and I'm the guy who can never get the steak right. Can I please have a rare steak? And they'll bring you well done. 3 times in a row. I'm so sorry, sir. Bring it back. Like, that's just my luck. And I like learn to live with it. I just really want this one to work out because I don't want to wait for the return. And then, it's going to take 2 weeks. I really want these kicks. I'm like, my feet are killing me. I'm working out constantly. I just want these kicks to fit. Anywho, Brian, this is why these people don't believe. Like, they're thinking, how the hell can you lie to my face and tell me you can't do anything about these judges? You can't do anything about this. They look too big. I hope they're not, but they look too big. Yeah, they're going to be too big. I'm sorry. Don't get me excited. They're too big. I'm telling you right now. I already no, they are. Look, they're too big. They're too big. Look how wide it is. It's too big. I hope you're right, but the tip to tip, but campus are wide, and it's different when you do it. It's going to be too big. I hope you're right, baby. I hope you're right. I'm not going to do it now, though. We can wait till after the show. She's like, take your shoes off. Put them on. Anyway, like, you can't lie to these people, Brian, and, like, say you can't do anything about this. There's nothing. And, like, you fight for the dumbest crap, right? You make post after post after post about why it's stupid when it's not stupid to them. Like, you're just being as tone deaf as you accuse the Democrats of being. I'm telling you, I went over that clip from Cernovich earlier in the week because he's right. We've gone over this whole politics runs downstream from culture thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's a reason why it doesn't. Sometimes the bureaucracy, sometimes the judiciaries, they force people to change. That's why. Again, the country was not pro-abortion when Roe v. Wade was the law of the land. It was not. And it took decades for everybody to accept wholesale baby killing. This is ridiculous. Everybody thinks like it was Roe v. Wade, and then we were in the 1990s, and babies were a fetus. That's not how it went. So, like, you can't say, and they know this, so you can't say, I'm going to do nothing about this, and I'm doing such great things, and we're making such big, we're creating. Don't bullshit them. Stop bullshitting people. And then denigrating them for their concerns. That's why you're in a tailspin. And now you lost your economic juice, which we didn't even get a chance to go over. What was it? 23,000 jobs? I mean, give me a break, dude. 33,000? I mean, 22,000. Unemployment rate was unchanged, but an absolute total joke. This is, and by the way, weekly jobless claims last week were really disaster. Well, it was Thursday. A disaster. You look adorable in them. They're awesome. I want that color too. I'll do that 6 months from now. That's how I go. We could twin. That's what I was thinking. All right. Let's go with Andrew's questions because I am running out of time here. Charlie Kirk's coming to town next week. Figured I'd mosey down there. Sure. I hope to be a bit better informed than others going after NGU run Ukraine sex trafficking in Utah and criminal justice reform, including the 8th Amendment. Either support all the Constitution or say you don't like certain parts. Yeah, I mean, that's conservatives for you, Andrew. They pick and choose the shit they want, don't they? Any other suggestions? If I punch below the belt, I'll hit their medical malpractice immunity. Should be fun on the bun. You know what? I mean, we could talk about that like on locals. Like that requires a little bit more detail. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that Charlie's going to touch that. I don't know. And as you know, there's a lot of big donors in Utah. There's a lot of powerful people in Utah. That's why nobody ever calls out the church. It is. They're too afraid. They're too afraid to upset certain big donors. So everyone allows some of the very questionable things that the Mormon church supports to go unquestioned. Who's going to do it? Glenn Beck? All right. But yeah, we could talk more about that. And I have read your stuff. I'm being admit, I'm not an expert in it, but some of the stuff I've read that you did was really, I mean, it's bad. And I wouldn't be surprised. That is where I would expect there to be a ring like that. I'm sorry. Look at the history. There's like 4 Netflix documentaries about that place. I'm serious. This one sex trafficked these girls. This one boned 11-year-olds en masse. I mean, where else would I expect? Why is everybody looking at New York City or like Chicago all the time? Right? Oh, crap. Here we have a fly. All right. The jobs report isn't a shocker. Time to address the H-1B issue. 100%. Completely by Republicans backing DeSantis, they gave their blessings to the lawfare. I will never forgive or forget that. Yeah, I agree with that. Those, and by the way, Eric Erickson was one of them, was he not? Those Republicans who did that were implicitly giving lawfare their blessing. I've been seeing these people chasing your ex posts. I'm a natural shit poster and can't stand posers. What, you see these people? I mean, they're like, they obsess with me. Jesus, Lord, give me that fly thing. It's driving me nuts. They obsess with me all day long and just sit there like quote tweeting me all day long. It's a little sick, guys. You're not going to be me. You're never going to be me. I hate to tell you. You're always going to be a D rider, whether you pretend to ride Donald Trump's D or you're like out in public riding me all day. And by the way, I don't need you to. All right.
He's good, guys.
All right. I don't need that. Got that part covered. Thank you. I mean, find your own life, posers. Find your own thoughts. God. My Ukraine corruption thread went wide in OSINT circles. Spooks galore. Big mad grr. Yeah, I saw a lot of people came after you hardcore over it. Actually, I saw a lot of replies in that, man. They were coming up. Next up, ooh, yeah, I'd have to check that out. Ryan, I had dinner with my RNC committeeman last night and Professor Penn. Oh, he's nice guy. And yeah, the establishment is just waiting out America first until Trump is gone. 100%. 100%. I mean, I imagine you would know the situation over there, actually. Right, Ryan? I mean, someone's going to get that money. Unfortunately, your state and their activists are not going to be told how to win your state. You know? That's a shame. Oh, my God. What is this thing? Get rid of this damn thing. I'm serious. Get me that Lowe's buzzer. I'm not kidding. It's driving me absolutely insane. Like that fly just hit me in the face like 8 times. Oh, here's what Mark Mitchell was talking about, by the way. And then I replied to it. And it's true. I have gone over this a million times with people. This has been the issue since forever, right? That's Trump's 2024 vote for people who are maybe listening and they're not looking, or for people who just need me to go over what it is. That is the final Rasmussen Reports national survey before the 2024 election. I went and pulled mine up as well. You'll see the same thing. It's not, actually, I can show it to you. It's still up. Why isn't it filtering by percentage? He's everywhere. I don't know. The guy just hit me in the face like 80 times. Let me see if I can find, it should be in labels. Why are they doing this? That's weird. Since when did this update defaulted to, this is crazy. This update defaulted to showing the actual sample base, not the actual percentages. It's all right though. They'll get the gist. I'll have to go and find out where in the update they changed that. Statistical significance, that's not it. Enable only top versus bottom. Mentions, sample size versus mentions. Oh, it's a cool update. I get it. So the reason why I'll show that to them in a second. As a matter of fact, there's Mark's. Here, let me remove that and I'll put up mine now. That's cool. Actually, I just looked at that update and it actually is really cool. Oh, he's back. He's back, babe. He's back. Where's the market site thing? I am legit about to, oh, hold on. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Mr. Miyagi coming in hot. Don't move. Don't move. Got him. Wax on, wax off. That's what you get. I took out nations and identities along with it, but he's dead right here. Okay. Let's pull up the chart. You want to know what the trick is? I'll tell you the trick. Slowly hover both of your hands on top of where the fly is going to go. Don't try to grab the fly itself. It's like, have you ever seen, Laura, what's the movie with that guy, that actor that you like? He played in Wimbledon, and then he's also the Archangel Michael in Legion. But I'm not that one. He's a vampire priest. Thank you. And priest, and he tries to tell the guy who's like the boyfriend of his daughter, who turns out to be his daughter. Crap, I just gave that away if you haven't seen it. But anyway, it's the boyfriend. He's trying to help him hunt down this vampire who took her. And he's trying to teach her how to kill the vampire. And he says, you can't kill the vampire by attacking where the vampire is. You must like figure out that they move in linear movements. And you have to go, don't attack point A, attack point B, where you know they're going to go. That is how you kill flies. It's the same thing. So you hover above them. And when you clap your hands over top of them, I'm there. When you clap your hands over top of them, they will fly into your hands. It's crazy. That's how you do it. You just can't spook them on the way over. You got to go slow. All right. I forgot where I learned that. Okay. Let me stop this and pull up the new one. That's you'll see this. I like what MarketSite did, actually, guys. It's neat. So this is what I was talking about. Here, you based on what you select to show, right? So you can go to visualize and you can look at what you're going to do. Display the sample base, the unweighted sample base, total mentions, right? Which we could probably still do, right? Look at that. That's neat. And so when you go to the data side of it, and actually it would have to be total unique because this is with people we leaned, all right? So then when you go to data, right, you display the calculation based on what you're doing. This is cool. So it was showing by default mentions. What I'm trying to show you is the sample size divided by, or mentions divided by the sample size, which gives the overall combined of people who were initially choosing one or the other in the generic ballot, and then you combine them with those who were leaned. All right, like, okay, you're undecided, but if you had to, like, because the election is tomorrow, who the hell are you going to vote for, right? And this is the percentage you can see that we get. All right, so those undecided third parties who turned out to vote, we got this really cool way. We're, by the way, changing how we lean people. Why? Because our someone else is too fat. There's two things we can do. We can weight more to a certain data collection mode, which had lower number of undecideds. And we can also lean people a little bit different, which when we went back and applied it to our 24 polls came out perfect, flawed. So we'll be doing that from now on. And I'll go over that when the time comes. But you can see here that Donald Trump's vote share is obviously backing the Republican Party in big numbers, and 84%. You can also see that slightly more of Kamala Harris's voters are voting for Democrats. This has gotten much, much worse since that last poll was completed. Mark, as you can see here, that he's trying to tell people that Trump's entire base is not Republican. And that's what people don't want to understand. All right. And if we went back and created a lot more charts, you could see it as well. And that is true, because you can see here, Trump's got a lot of these other, Trump gets a lot of these other votes that are, they don't necessarily consider themselves Republican. And I know it's 318, but I can actually show you one real quick. If we go to the crosstabs, I want to save this actually. Save this. If we go to the there we go. If we go to crosstabs, right? And then we go to new. All right, let's make sure the weights are there. We want to make sure the final weights are there, right? Rows, columns, questions, survey questions. Let's just take them all the leaners. No, it would be in row, by the way. Let's take all the leaners. Okay, and the generic ballot leaners. And then let's take the columns and we will do, crap, I'd have to do it a different way. All right, this is going to take too long. Sorry, guys. I will show you this, though, because this is very cool. I will show you this. What I'm basically going to show you is that Donald Trump's coalition is not made up. If we nest it with those who identify as America First or traditional Republicans, and then we nest it with the independent identification demographic, which is, what, you know, do you lean more to the right? Do you lean more to the left? Are you really truly in the middle? Or do you have sharing nothing in common with these people at all? You will see that MAGA is a huge part of MAGA is not Republican, and they're not at all fans of the Republican Party. All right. So you, Gruber, and Barnes should do a cultural show. I would love that. That's a great idea. Maybe we'll reach out to them to do it. Yep. Oh, man. From one person with sizing issues to another, go get something made to measure, be it boots or shoes. I know it's pricey, but it's worth it. I have done that with my dress stuff. All right. Not with my, you know, everyday gear, but with shoes. I believe it's Brown and Murphy or somebody. They've been very helpful in that. It is pricey, but even if you get like 1 or 2 pairs like that, it's amazing. You're right. All right. I know I got a boogie. It's 3:20. Don't forget, if you like the show, to like it and share it far and wide. Also, don't forget that the public polling project is below. There's a lot of cool things that we could do here, guys, at this time. So go and contribute. I know it's, you know, I know it's a big ask. It is, but that's why we put it quarterly, and we are way behind on that. Way. And you'll go in, if you look and click on the link below, which is the public polling project's link in the description to the videos, you'll see. Getter, you don't even have that, do you? I don't think you do. Damn. Yes, you do. Yeah, it is. But I will put it in the comment sections anyway for you guys. Do your best. I know, like I said, you know, it's always an ask, but it's the only way to do it. You know, I mean, we got to fund it to do it. And the boss woman has like completely pulled the plug on that, rightfully so. So it's got to get funded in order for us to do it, because it's a lot. There will be a little bit of I can't say that yet. All right. Not this Monday, next Monday. We got a little surprise for you. All right. So with that in mind, well, wait, I'm going to go. I'd love to say goodbye to you if you give me 2 seconds. All right. With that in mind, I hope you all have a great weekend. Locals, I'll see you soon, and nothing but love for you. In the meantime, don't buy everyone's crap. Deuces, guys. Talk to you soon.